Hello, let's talk about books. Welcome back to my tour of the Dewey Decimal System. We are up to number 500, which is Natural Sciences and Mathematics. Now, I'm going to link the rest of my playlist below and I think it's that side because there's not much in this collection. So here's the thing. I'm not a science person, so there's not much in this category on my shelves, but there's enough to talk about. We love to talk about books and I love to talk about non-fiction books. So let's talk about them anyway. Most of the books in my collection are in the 500 category, which is general science, general overview, probably general history of science because I'm a historian, not a scientist. I think we got the point. Okay, let's start this small but mighty collection with Randall, Munroe, What If? Which is serious scientific answers to absurd hypothetical questions. This was published in 2014 and the call number is 500, which is general science. The blurb here says, hey, thanks for looking at my book. If you're thinking about buying it, here are some things you might want to know. Humans can't digest the cellulose in paper, but if we could, eating this book would give you about 2,300 calories, including the cover. That is definitely the vibe of this book. And its follow-up, What If 2, again the call number is 500 General Science. This one was published in 2022. People posing crazy, absurd questions to Randall Munroe and then him going through the actual science to work out the answers. Randall Munroe is the creator of the XKCD comic and these are just fantastic. Like that's literally a T-Rex on an airplane. Obviously. I've got another one by Randall Munroe. This is How To. Absurd Scientific Advice for Common Real-World Problems. Now this one is 502, which is Miscellaneous General Science, published in 2019. What kind of advice are we given in here? How to jump really high, how to listen to music, how to chase a tornado, how to throw things, how to mail a package, how to get somewhere fast, how to dispose of this book. Let's have a look at that one. Chapter 28, how to dispose of this book. If you're done with this book and decide you want to get rid of it, the simplest thing to do is give it to someone else. Editor's note. If you would like to purchase all existing copies of this book, please contact the John Murray sales department. There's air disposal, ocean disposal, time disposal, disposal of an indestructible or cursed book, shoot it into the sun, and then how to preserve this book. Again, very fun, but also very science. Next up is 509.02, which is the history of general science. This is The Light Ages, a medieval journey of discovery by Seb Falk. It's a little penguin edition. This was published in 2020 and it's a history of medieval science and in particular medieval monks who are doing the science in this book. Now I read a review of this, but I don't know if I was on BookTube at the time, so if I have the review in video I will link it. I really enjoyed this book. It's one of those books where I know enough about what they're talking about that when it comes to stuff I don't know, I'm going to trust the author knows what they're talking about. I learned in here how Benedictine monks count on their fingers because in Benedictine monasteries there's silent times. And so you need to be able to communicate and count silently. And there's definitely stuff in here about how medieval astronomers calculated the planes and angles of stars, and that was hard going. I read it, could not tell you a single thing about it. This one's written in the framework of a single monk and where he travelled and the things that he did, which is quite common in history to just make the narrative flow. But it does delve into lots of science, lots of astronomy. What else have I got? The Reckoning of Time, the Astrolabe, Other Astrology, the Crusade, the Computer of the Planets. That sort of thing. Really enjoyed it. That's all general science. Then you move on to the 510s, which is mathematics. Nothing. Sips or zilch. Not interested in maths. There's 520, which is astronomy, and I don't have anything there either. 530, which is physics, and surprisingly, I do have a book about physics. Now, it's actually a book about the history of physics. That doesn't mean anything. So this is 530.0904. The Matter of Everything, 12 Experiments That Changed the World by Suzie Sheehy, who is a professor at the University of Melbourne, I think. They are an accelerator physicist, and this is basically, again, 12 experiments, 12 stories about the history of physics. I haven't read it. I intend to. This one was published in 2022. 540 is Art Chemistry, and I do actually have something in here which was a surprise to me when it landed in this category. This is 540.112 Alchemy. That explains why I have a chemistry book. This is quite heavy. This is Alchemy and Mysticism by Alexander Roob from 1997. This is one of those Taschen pretty picture books about alchemy, and I just like to flick through it. Now there is some introductory text and probably some contextual text which I've not read. It's just hefty and gorgeous and I love it. And all those, I mean, Taschen just does really good picture books, don't they? The cover is white. I love a white cover. That's gorgeous. Okay, 550 is Earth Sciences and Geology, and I have a book in this category too, which I hauled recently, so I will link that video. This is The Map That Changed the World, The Tale of William Smith and the Birth of a Science by Simon Winchester. This came out in 2009, and the call number here is 551.092, which is the biography of geology. This is a book about geology and map making. A history of geology and map making. Are you sensing the theme? And this was recommended to me in a secondhand bookshop by an enabler I was shopping with. So I picked it up. That is all my science books, maths and science, but there are more categories. There's 560, which is fossils and prehistoric life. 570, which is life sciences and biology. 580, which is plants. And 590, which is zoology. I'm not surprised this is my smallest category because science is not my thing. And as you saw, a lot of those books were the history of a science rather than, up-to-date technical science things. Nevertheless, we have something on every shelf in this library and we love them all. Please recommend me history of science books because that's clearly the way I'm going to get into the genre is through the historical angle. And please recommend me books in general because obviously. And I will see you in the next one. Bye.